Hi everyone. It is February. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And I am specifically coming on here to talk to my parents, not just moms, but I know most of you that follow me are moms. So, what can parents do to empower their teens? Well, what I would tell you is two things. Two things that I have learned from experience. And I want to preface this that regardless of your strength in relationships, don't worry. um, we don't have to have all the answers, okay? We don't have to know everything. That's why there are resources out there. But the two things that I personally have learned through this journey, not just my own personal experience with self-defense, but also sharing it with others, is number one, confidence. Empower your kids with confidence. Ha! Did I not just give you the hardest assignment of it all? Right. How do we do that? There are a lot of confidence building activities that you can give your kids. And the best thing for building confidence is doing. If you are a strong, confident person, what got you to that place? A lot of times it's experiences, it's overcoming fears, giving them opportunities to grow personally and have those kinds of experiences. And this is a tricky one, but giving our kids the tools to know how to be a confident person helps in so many different areas. And I think nowadays with modern technology, we're overthinking this. I know for myself, in all the experiences that I've had in my life, there's a few things that I've done that have really truly elevated my empowerment. And you can think I'm biased or not, but one of the biggest experiences that had the biggest impact on confidence building and empowerment was learning self-defense. And that's just being honest with you. That's a huge confidence builder. Why? Well, I start off my self-defense classes by giving tools to build a confident mindset. And we talk about the reality of the world that we live in. Once you understand and you say, you know what, I know that something could happen to me at any moment, anywhere, anytime. The moment that I fully acknowledged that I'm vulnerable was extremely empowering. So have a conversation with your kids. And I don't mean a talk where you sit down and we give advice. And what I've experienced is that we tend to say things like, be careful. Okay, that's very generic, but okay, I will be careful. Because, think about something like that. Are you not? Yes, there are people who are not being careful. But in general, most of us are being careful. Most of us are out there, like, not intentionally putting ourselves in situations where we're going to be harmed. Yet it still happens. And I think it's because we put out such blank statements like that, like be careful. Or before our daughter will go away to college, we'll say things like, well, if you get into a situation, you know, fight back. If someone tries to hurt you or hit you, leave. Don't stay with them. The point that I'm getting at is those statements are just a little too generic and too broad and too simple, because I was one of those people who thought, well, of course I'll do something. But nobody taught me what to do. And so, in an effort to build confidence and equip teens with the ability to be able to recognize a situation and be able to remove themselves from that situation. And if they're not able to recognize it early enough, what to do when it gets to that point where they're being physically harmed. So my best advice to parents is don't just talk to your kids. Take them to a kickboxing class or a self-defense class or a martial arts class. Take them somewhere where they'll learn about boundaries. Again, that's one of my self-defense class where we learn boundaries. But, and that's, we'll do a whole nother video about that. But my last class I had, one of the women in the class, about 18, 19 years old, we started talking about boundaries and really got into the conversation of boundaries. And she raised her hand and she said, I don't think I have any boundaries. Like, we really don't think about it. And it's because of these generic statements like, if he touches you inappropriately, kick him in the balls. Now, when you're a teenager, what's really happening is that someone touching you inappropriately is way too gray. I mean, think about it. You have emotions and peer pressure and all these combinations of things on these kids. They don't know what's okay and what's not okay to them. They know what you think's not okay and what's okay, but they haven't set their boundaries yet. And so that's what this whole thing over again I'm repeating is empowering our kids isn't giving them directions. It's giving them the GPS and letting them figure out the directions, letting them build that confidence themselves by deciding what's important to them and what their values are and what their boundaries are based on that. A lot of times we do an example in class where I'm a complete stranger and I give someone a compliment, and when I give them the compliment, I touch their shoulder. And afterwards I'll ask, are you okay with that? If it's you and me in a gas station and I come up and I give you a compliment and I touch your shoulder at the same time, are you okay with that? Most people have not even thought about that. If you're in the grocery store parking lot and you are putting the kids in the back seat and you've still got a cart there with groceries you got to put in the car also, and a man starts to approach you, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to protect my kids. I'm going to fight back. Again, that's very vague. That's great, but what exactly are you going to do? It's all about having a plan. Empower your kids to have their own plan. Okay, getting ready to go away to college. If there's a guy that you really like and you have feelings for and you have an opportunity and there you are and you're out with your friends and he starts to grope you, You need to decide if you're okay with that or you're not okay with that. And if you're not okay with that, what are you going to do? That's a conversation that we need to have. What are you going to do? If you present that question to your daughter and she doesn't have an answer and can't demonstrate to you what she's going to do, she's just going to come up with an idea when the moment arises, when she has a split second to make a decision that could impact her life significantly. Don't let her go ill-equipped. Role play. And this may seem like, we got 50 million other things to do and all this stuff. How am I supposed to now fit this in? What are your priorities? How important is the safety of your family to you? If the safety of your family is a high priority, then this is something you will find time to do. And if you don't feel comfortable and confident yourself to teach her and empower her, then the two of you need to get in a self-defense class. Thank you for your time. I hope this helps. Don't forget, share, like, follow Pepperspray Patti.